Do you have room in your heart for the five-string banjo, that plucking sound? Do you have room in your heart for the five-string banjo that's round? Hi, my name's Roy. We'll be talking about the five-string banjo for a bit. The reason it's important to me is I've been playing for 24 years, and I've got the most experience in that probably than anything else in my life. And so, it's a forever ongoing process. You don't just learn; you're constantly learning. And it's a family thing as well. Some different styles of playing a banjo would be probably most prominent would be bluegrass that it's associated with. But you can play jazz, country. The way I've always looked at it is you can probably put banjo on anything as long as it'll fit to a certain degree, whether it's where it's prominent or whether it's just barely in the background somewhat. The Talk a little bit of history of banjo. This is an example of a bread pan banjo, which you can see it's got like a skin head and there's three strings here. One looks like a broom handle or something. These were supposedly originated by slaves in Africa at that time, the 17, 1800s. It could have been earlier. They made their way over here to the United States, and fast forward to what you would call, this is a three-string here, so it went to go to what they call a four-string plectrum banjo, which was more or less strummed in like jazz ensembles and things like that. It wasn't really meant to be a per se picking a lead, a picking or solo instrument. It was just there, kind of like a rhythmic, or it could be perceived as a percussive instrument. Fast forward to the 1940s. Here we have Bill Monroe, of course, and then Earl Scruggs. Now, like I said, banjo wasn't really, used as a picking instrument. It was more like a strumming instrument. So here, as you can see, Earl has picks on. So nobody really didn't know what this was. They'd heard three-finger style. They'd heard, people like Snuffy Jenkins played on the radio, what I've been told, in the 1930s. But it really didn't get popular until Earl started with Bill Monroe and they played on the Grand Ole Opry in about 1946. So a lot of people credit Earl between 1946 and 47 as what we know as the three-finger style bluegrass banjo, and popularized that. How I learned to play, I was just always around it. I knew that I knew that I would play something, but this for some reason the banjo just always caught my attention. Just this constant 16th note. Just ongoing. My dad showed me literally one song, and I took off from there. I didn't have any lessons or anything like that, so I'm what you call through, I guess, folk artist, self-taught for the most part. This is my grandfather. This is who I was named after, Roy Lee Centers. He was the lead singer for Ralph Stanley and the Clinch Mountain Boys from November of 1969 until his untimely death, May 2nd, 1974. As you can see here, he's pictured with his D28, and here's Ralph Stanley. It was probably a warm-up or something at a show. And then right here is him again, and probably he was younger, playing with, this would have to be my Uncle Fred Spencer that played cross pick style guitar, and they used to play in Dayton, Ohio a lot in the 1960s. That was before my grandfather had joined with Ralph. So my dad learned from him as I learned from my dad. It's like Ralph had mentioned in his last book that, it's just like I guess we're just, the Centers is just, they're just destined to play. So it's, I can't run from it. I play two different styles, primarily of banjo, which is a three-finger style and claw hammer. Depending on which area that you go into, the festival, vast group of people, that's, like I said, it's kind of weird because, from the mountains, that's where they say claw hammer or overhand drop thumb, that kind of style started. And then, a lot of people want to hear three-finger style. But yet you go in the city, that's where, you know, people like Ralph Stanley, Bill Monroe, this was the first generation bluegrassers, you know, took what was like a mountain and then take to the city. City folk want to hear mountain, mountain folk want to hear, you know, it's like it's vice versa, right? A lot of people, I've been requested to do a lot of claw hammers, so, you know, it's, I've learned, picked up on that, you know, and the ideas kind of work off one another. So, you know, if you play three finger style, you play claw hammer, you can actually write, I get ideas from both. And I'll give an example of that right now with the claw hammer. And you talk a little bit about this banjo. This is a early 1970s Fender artist. This was owned by my grandpa, and which I got from my dad. And this my dad had learned on this one, and he got when he was really young. And so I started playing about the same time that he did, you know, 12 years old. And so it's been with me ever since. But anyway, here's some claw hammer for you. I'll give an example of a three finger style, a little bit on melodics and things here. Some actual banjo players that wanted to listen to would be Jens Kruger for his claw. He's got a really good claw hammer style, three finger style. He's a really fast banjo player, fluid. He does a lot of like Beethoven, Mozart type stuff. Another one would be Nolan McKelney, which is a place with the Hunts Brothers. I think he's actually on Compass Records. And another one to be noted would be somebody like Ron Stewart that plays with the Boxcars. He does a great banjo work, more traditional. So banjo is a versatile instrument, I think, more in today's time than it used to be. It's not so much a stereotype as to one genre of music. I think it can fit pretty much anywhere. It just depends on what kind of sound, you know, that you are looking for, and you happen to want that funking sound that's around. So